Well, hi, everybody. It's another Conversations with, and my dear friend Richard Morco is with me. And so, from the you really can't make these things up.
No, you can't.
You can't. I mean, we have what is going on in our country today. It is, sometimes you sit back and say, wow. And I have to be honest, from a practical standpoint, I mean, I'm an old hardline politician. Grew up in the Boston area, got involved in campaigns when I was younger, ran some of the campaigns. I can't.
Nothing like it.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, Dick, you should go back where you came from.
I know I should.
I mean.
But I do every Thanksgiving to see the football game. But that's beside the point. No, but I when you see it, the totality of it, you just sit back and say, wow. I mean, even now they want to change baseball games. The pitcher can only have so many seconds to throw the ball.
Well, that's because attendance is way down. They've scientifically gamed the games, so they're 3 weeks long. It's like cricket.
Oh, yeah.
Cricket plays over 3 days.
Oh, I know.
Come on.
Yeah, I know.
Americans don't want
Well,
that.
I mean, I got to tell you, I remember as a kid, we had the Boston Braves and the Boston Red Sox. And I used to go to Braves Field, get on the tee in the morning when they were home, because when they were never together. The Sox would be on the road, the Braves were home. They had the schedules planned. And I'd go to Braves Field. And I'd get in, because they have guys, they're bringing in the vendors, so I'd just go in. And I got to know everybody after a while. They used to kick me out at first. And after a while, they got to know you, and they'd let you alone. Well, I got down to and this is now, they were all day games back then. This is at 10:30 in the morning. The players would come out. I used to play catch with Warren Spahn.
Whoa.
Played catch with Johnny Sane. In front of the dugout. Knew them all.
Do you remember the poem?
Oh, yeah. Spawn and Sane and Pray for Rain.
Yeah.
Well, they had Vernon Bickford, so. But
people are out there saying, "What are they talking?"
But I remember back then that they used to carry 7 or 8 pitchers.
Yeah.
They'd have 4 starters,
Yeah.
and they'd have 3 guys in the bullpen, and the starters used to pitch 8 or 9 innings.
Yeah.
Rarely did you see a relief pitcher come in.
A complete game was the norm.
Yeah, that's what they did. And 10 guys would win 20 games.
Yeah.
Now you can't. If you win 17, it's a great year.
Oh, that's the thing.
Now they tell you, get me 5 innings.
Yeah. It's gamed. It's so gamed that who wants to spend hours watching as they do their little strategy?
Yeah.
Play the game.
Yeah. Get up and hit the baseball.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember in high school I used to pitch, and the reason I was a pitcher, my father told me the story about all the sports, and he got down to the last 2, baseball and golf. And he told me about golf. That's a crazy game. You don't ever want to play golf. He said, that's a game where you hit the ball and you have to go get it yourself. He said, that's crazy. He said, you want to play baseball. Now, if you're going to play baseball, you want to be a pitcher. Because if you're a pitcher, they give you this big hill. You can stand up on top of that hill, and they get some poor sucker and give him a piece of wood. And he stands 65 feet away from you, or 60.6, whatever it was. And he said, you throw this baseball at him. Now, if he happens to hit it, 8 guys run and get it for you. And they bring it back and give it to you. And then between innings, when your team is up, you get a nice jacket, and you sit in the dugout, and you're nice and warm.
Yeah.
Don't have to do anything, And he says, if you're going to ever do it, pitch. Well, I did pitch. Well, they wouldn't let you throw a curveball then, because the coaches would tell you it could hurt your arm. Yeah. So you just threw. I happened to throw a knuckleball. I developed a knuckleball when I was a kid, and because I couldn't throw a fastball. My fastball was 12 miles an hour. If I was lucky, and but I remember one day, but I was nasty. I remember one day, first inning, a kid gets up and he gets a double. And we bat around, and about the 4th inning, he's up again. I hit him. My catcher comes running out. You hit that kid. You threw it right at him. But in those days, you got him in the ribs or
Yeah.
on the side of the bum. You know, you never threw anything above
Right.
above his letters. But I nailed him on the cheek of the backside, you know, and I let him have it. And the catcher comes out, you hit him? Yeah. He says, what'd you do that for? I says, because he got a hit out of me. I said, wait till he gets up the next time. He won't even get near the plate. You watch. But that's what they did in those days.
Sure.
I learned Warren Spahn. You get a hit off Warren Spahn. Next time up, you better be careful. They used to call it, give him chin music. He'd zoom right under your chin, you know. But the game's changed, as you pointed out. And it's a different world today.
Yeah.
You know, everything is different.
Right.
You know, 8 pitchers pitching a game.
They're more.
I listen to Jerry Remy, and he's funny. Nobody bunts anymore.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
I used to bunt. I was a pitcher. We couldn't hit,
Yeah.
but we had a bat. So the coach used to teach me how to bunt, and I'd get on 2 out of 3 times a game, because just lay. Once you learn how to do it, you know, and you could drag it, you could start running and just drop it.
Right.
You know, and you'd be halfway to first base before they get the ball, but those are gone. All those real skills. I mean, I remember squeeze plates at the plate.
Yeah.
Guy at third base, they didn't wait for a long fly ball. They'd bunt down the first baseline, and the guy to be safe.
Yeah. It's, I think it all started maybe with the designated
Hitter.
letting the pitcher
Yeah.
get out. And now that there was always the mania for the home run. They thought a game should be a home run derby,
Yeah.
and it is now. But if it's the only thing that's going on, what's the point?
Oh yeah, so every game 5 home runs. You know, I mean, and so it's Eckersley brought a ball in that he had from when he pitched. Now he pitched 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And he had the new ball, and it's like night and day. The old ball, the cover was loose, and it was light stitched.
Yeah.
The new ball is tight. That cover you can't. I used to be able to move the cover on the old balls,
Right.
because it was real leather, and it was soft. And he says you could really throw those things.
Yeah.
He said this new ball is designed to go out of the ballpark.
They're gaming it again. They're gaming
Yeah.
it because they thought that was what the people wanted.
Yeah.
Well, they're not
No.
getting the attendance.
No, they're not. And well, because you want to go for 4.5 hours?
No.
Well, that's right.
No.
You know, we used to play them in 2 hours.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah. They were over pretty quickly.
But I mean, but the world we live in, and it's even with this thing with Trump and the 4 ladies, I have to sit back and say that wouldn't have happened 20 years ago.
It wouldn't have.
It would never have
I'm going to
happened.
tell you, it would have happened 4 years or 8 years ago. But the Democrats thought they had, they could be insulting, and the Republicans would act like gentlemen and be
Yeah.
good people.
Yeah.
Trump gives it back to them. Is it a good thing? In the end, no. I don't think it's a good thing. But that woman Tlaib, she's acting like a paragon of dignity. You remember what she called the president. The first, it's a compound word. The
Yeah.
first part of it was your closest maternal ancestor.
Yeah, yeah.
And the second one was something we can't have, we can't say on the air.
No.
And she called him that, and now, oh my gosh.
Well, you see, one of the things that's really changed is we speak with forked tongue. We're talking out of both sides of our mouth. There was an old saying, that old saying. And what happens is they can do it, but you can't. Well, you can't play that game.
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying?
Trump turned that around.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, Jeb wasn't going to win anyway. Jeb Bush there was no way if he was nominated,
I know.
he was going to win. But had he won, he'd have been a punching bag for the Democrats for 4 years.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's talk about that. The Democratic Party, 24 people running for president. That never in 150 years would have happened 25 years ago, 30 years ago. The minute somebody would announce, everybody else would back out. even if they wanted to. Occasionally, you'd get a second or third person. You know, that's how the Ross Perot just passed away.
Yeah.
The Ross Perots of the world. Remember Anderson?
Yeah.
They'd run as independents because the Democrats would pick their guy, the Republicans would pick their guy, and that's who would run for president.
Yeah.
But today, 24 people. And what's happening is it's eroding the candidates for the Democratic nomination. And what do I mean? Now they're all out there beating the hell out of one another, calling each other names.
Calling each other.
Yeah,
And
so
Biden
what's
is a
happening?
racist.
And what happens now is as they get to the point, whoever survives that nomination, by the time they get the nomination, whoever it is, they're going to be black and blue, beat up, pounded, and out of money.
Yeah.
And so they got to run against Trump.
Good luck
Okay?
with that.
So, well, that's my point. Where 20 years ago, if Biden was going to be the guy, they'd go to the Warrens and the Sanders and say, "You're out. You can't run. It's him. Sorry, we'll get you something later." And everybody would back down, and you'd have one guy running, and that would be that. I still to this day think that Mitt Romney could have won had he not had 12 people in his primary.
I disagree.
Well,
I think Romney.
that's okay.
I think Romney was Jeb, a better-looking Jeb. That's all I think Romney was. I don't think, I mean, he was here
Yeah.
in Massachusetts as governor.
Yeah.
Now he's somewhere else as a
Yeah.
carpetbagger.
He's all over over
Yeah.
the place. Yeah.
And then he begged Trump for a job he didn't
Yeah.
get.
Yeah.
And Romney, I would have loved to have, if I were a Democrat, I would have loved to have run against him.
Yeah. Well, anyway, he didn't win, so it doesn't matter. But the point I'm making is that our election process is now. I mean, I sit back and I say, how long can they continue this charade of 24? I mean, Seth Moulton is a congressman from up in Salem area, North Shore. He has less than 1% of recognition.
Yeah.
I mean, what's he doing?
But he's still in there.
Yeah, get out.
Well, I understand it. Probably the way he's thinking, I don't think it's very smart, but they're all thinking, okay, Biden falls on his sword.
Yeah.
We get some little scandal of Kamala.
Or there'll be a backlash against another black president.
Yeah.
And that'll get, because of Obama, yeah.
Yeah, so he's thinking, can I be the last man standing?
Yeah.
I doubt it,
Yeah.
but it's not without the realm of public
No.
possibility.
And then I see these ads from a guy named Steyer.
Steyer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All he's got is money.
that's all he's got.
Yeah. And he's jumped in now.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's and because I don't pay much attention to the numbers this early, but the thing that's been amazing to me is that Biden's been able to hold on as long as he has, and he's still number one.
That amazes me too. He's got quite the scandal brewing about his son,
Yeah.
the coke addict who was kicked out of the Navy Reserve, who got $1 billion. How's he surviving this?
Yeah.
I
But the thing
okay,
is,
let me ask you a question.
go ahead.
Let's both get on the record. We won't hold each other to it next month,
Right.
but let's be on the record this month. Who do you think will survive? And I'll give you mine.
I think the survivor will be Biden, and I think so for a multitude of reasons. He's got the best name recognition of all of them. He is older, and we're an old population. And the Democratic Party is an old party. Okay, there's no young Democrats. They don't exist. So for that reason, I think it's Biden, and I wouldn't be shocked if he picked, I would think Harris, but it may be Warren, to run with him. That's my feeling. Now next month I could change completely. But as I see this thing today, it's Biden and one of the women.
I'm going to say Biden goes away eventually. Why? Because he won't stop talking. And every time he talks,
He gets himself in trouble.
he gets himself in trouble. Why? I think Warren can win. I can survive. I don't think she can win, but I think she can survive, possibly. Kamala, she's kind of arrogant. You know.
Oh yeah, she overplays her.
Yeah.
She overplays her Indian, Jamaican,
Yeah.
whatever it is. She overplays that.
She can claim she's the rainbow candidate, but
Yeah.
you know.
And then the other thing is she tried to, I thought was a ill-conceived move. She tried to jump on the four ladies and get into that deal.
Yeah.
You know, me too. Don't forget me. I'm black, and I know I'm from Jamaica, and my father's from wherever. You know, and so she tried to play that game.
I think there's a weakness in that she doesn't say outright gaffes like Biden will.
Yeah.
But she wants to get it. If she can control her mouth and just say, maybe that's not a battle I have to be in.
Yeah.
Then I think she can. I don't think she can win, but
Well, you know,
I think she can be the last person
that's a
standing.
good point, because I have a situation. You know, I'm involved in the town, and I was involved in WARE for many years. One of the things I always had to be real careful of is that I didn't jump into a battle that I wasn't necessarily needed, that I wasn't going to win, and stay out of it. And even though I might have had the right answer, even though I could have solved the problem, it was easier for me to stay out than get in. And that goes back to knowing, that's political savvy. It was a great word my dad always used, S-A-V-V-Y, savvy. If you had savvy, you knew what was going on. And sometimes, to your point, those people don't have the savvy. You know, my mother used to say it. Every once in a while, I'd come home and blah, 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 a little kid, and she'd say, Dickie, listen to Mother. Sometimes you're better off to keep your mouth shut and be thought a fool than to open it and remove all doubt. Okay. And so I've tried to remember that. And there are times when you should keep your mouth shut and let them think you're a fool than to open it up and everybody in the ballpark knows you are.
That's definitely true. And what are we doing here, folks?
Yeah, well, no. But my point is, it goes back to what you just said.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and the thing that's amazing with these 24 candidates, they haven't learned it yet.
No, in fact, they have a megaphone, each one of them trying to make a fool of himself.
Yeah.
But if Warren can do that, you know, I was listening on the radio down here to Cory Booker.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was Cory Booker. It sounded like somebody who had been Secretary of the Treasury
Yeah.
discussing one
Yeah.
issue, and then he went to other issues. I said, oh, this is a politician. He didn't sound like a politician. He sounded like a normal person.
Well, can I tell you something? Every time I've seen him on television, I get more and more impressed with him.
Yeah.
He's sensible. He's logical. He doesn't get ranting and raving. He doesn't say stupid things, you know, and he doesn't get himself into a controversy. He stays out of the controversy.
Why hasn't he gotten any traction? I asking myself that, you know. I think I might have some ideas. He's made some comments in the past that haven't really worked.
You know what I think the problem is, and I'm just talking strict politically. He comes across a lot like Obama because he's calm, logical, pleasant, kind, gentle, and there are people who still think Obama was a terrible president and we should never have had him. But he had his day and see you later. And so never again will I vote for Obama, you know, that type of thing. And so that may or may not be, but every time I agree with you. He could be, if he can get some dough. I mean, the biggest problem is money.
Yeah.
If he gets some dough, he could really, and see, it'll be interesting. He's the kind of a guy at a debate that could blow everybody away. While they're all ranting and raving, he's calm, cool, logistical, collective, simple.
I heard one guy say about him, as a senator, not as a candidate for president, nobody can kumbaya you like Cory Booker can.
Yeah.
He can get to you, you know, he said, we can all be friends, we can all be part of the family.
Yeah.
Maybe he can do it. I don't know.
But it's going to be interesting. I mean, it really is, and I mean, people have asked me, and I said, look, if I were running a campaign, I would have one ad for the Democrat, and it would be the film clip of Bush and Billy Bush, not the President Bush, Billy Bush and Donald Trump on the bus, talking about the women and what Trump said. You can reach right down and grab them because you're a celebrity, and that's what I do. I'd play that and play that and play that.
Do you think it would sooner or later work against you?
Yes.
Because I'll tell you why I don't think it's a good idea. For the same reason you said about what's his name taking on Warren, Senator, the guy who lost the Senate to Warren, kept up the.
Brown.
Yeah, Brown
Kept
up the
Indian
thing. He kept it up.
Yeah,
until,
too long.
You know, I mean,
Oh no, you have to. I don't mean you run it for 16 weeks. I mean, it would be. You'd have to use it effectively, because with this Me Too movements and all these things going on, if you could motivate enough women, and you can motivate enough diversified people, you can beat Trump. Because he has offended them, and if you play it right, you can do it.
okay. I disagree with this because I think the Me Too has run its course. And the reason I think the Me Too has run its course is Jeffrey Epstein gets arrested. You know, they come in, and they're talking underage. Well, they're also talking, what was he doing with them? More talking about, was he a spy? You know, they're talking about Clinton being on the plane, Dershowitz.
Yeah.
They're not talking about they're talking about the exploitation of the girls, but not as much as when, you know,
Well, the people he had around him.
Yeah.
I mean, the people he surrounded himself with.
Yeah.
Now they got a new tape of him and Donald Trump at some golf club, standing there, and they got the audio of the two of them analyzing each woman in the room. You know.
Now,
So look at that one over there at table 4. You know.
okay, Dick Vaughan, before you were married, you were hanging
Yes.
out.
The answer is
and,
yes.
Okay, so we don't have to go any further there.
The answer is yes.
And other than
How many? Look at
other than moi, who spent
how many guys. Look, I told you.
I was in the monastery all
I
the
told
years.
you. After the Thanksgiving game, kissed the cheerleader behind the grandstand. Okay, my hand is up. I mean, the point is, I got that, but I'm just thinking. We talked about the country changing. You can't do anything today without somebody going to arrest you. My point is, could that be could those tapes be effective against Trump with people who say, wow, this guy's just a thug. This guy's just a dirty old man.
We're going to find that out.
Oh, yes, we are.
We're going to find that out when somebody's still standing,
Yeah.
provided they're not a guy with a Epstein-like reputation. If they're, you know, a Warren or a Booker and they have nothing in their closet, we're going to find that out.
Now, let me tell you about an Epstein-type guy. One of the biggest problems in any campaign is finances.
Yes.
You've got to have money.
Yes.
And so what happens is, I can vividly remember we had people give money to campaigns that I've been involved in, where the average Joe gives you $100, this guy could give you $5,000, and we have laws in Massachusetts, so $2,000 would come from him, $2,000 from his wife, $1,000 from each of his kids. And then you find out 3 weeks later the guy's a thug, you know, or he's done this or he's done that, and you go, I hope nobody finds out he gave us money, you know. And so that could very well be the Epstein, where he could throw these guys, he's a billionaire, or he is, or whatever, where he could give a Clinton $10,000 for a campaign. So Clinton's got to say, oh, great, my friend Epstein, you know. And so those could be quid pro quo deals, where he was giving these guys heavy money to get their friendship.
I think that's probably true. Like a lot of people say.
And those guys had no idea what he was doing in the back room.
Well, he supposedly he has pictures of every person he brought there, and you know he has.
Yeah.
So All he may have done is take their picture and say, you know, I hate to see this happen. Why don't you invest with? Because there's no record of him working with any of the brokerage houses in
No.
New York. It's either offshore,
Yeah.
or he would take the money and just put it in an index fund.
Yeah.
That Joe Billionaire, who he said, I'll give you this 15-year-old girl here.
Yeah.
Joe, why don't you invest with me now? Because I hate to see those pictures become public.
Yeah.
Maybe he was doing that,
Yeah.
and he was playing some scam. Well, he was obviously
Yeah.
playing some scam game.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
But I mean, the thing is that all of that, and you put this whole thing in a nice pie, and you look at it and say, America has changed. I mean, you look at this today, and I think back to the Kennedy-Nixon election, to the Goldwater-Johnson election, to the Truman-Dewey election when I was a young kid, Eisenhower's election against Stevenson, and you look at those elections, it was a completely different world, you know. And of course, we didn't have the media that we have today.
No.
That's another factor. The media, 600 and some odd stations, out of 3. Think about it. There was 3 stations at one time.
Well, how many of those stations are being watched? I mean, I saw a figure that Limbaugh has more listeners than put together CNBC, NBC, CBS, what's the other one, Fox. Limbaugh has more listeners than all of them. NPR, he has more.
I threw him off the air.
What?
You
threw him off the air.
I'll tell you why. I was up in Vermont, WSYB, and when he couldn't get anybody to carry him, I took it because he had to pay, and I think it was like I was paying him $100 a week or something, and I sold it locally to 3 or 4 diehard Republican businessmen.
Right.
So I had a sponsorship deal that I was taking in $500. It was costing me $100. Well, all of a sudden he takes off, and he did. He was a house. Oh my God, Rush Limbaugh. And my numbers were through the roof because of him. And I get a call that your contract's coming up at the end of the year. I know it's 6 months away. Well, we're just going to tell you now. We're going from that $100 to $3,000. Really? Not here, you're not. Well, you can't get rid of me. And he called me back because I said, we're not doing it. I said, the most I'll do is I'll give you $150. We'll go up 150. No, it's $3,000 a month. No. I'm giving you 150. That's tops. He calls me. Dick, Rush Limbaugh. Yeah. What are you thinking about? You know, I'm not. I said, Rush, you could be the boss himself. I said, if you think you're going to take my little station in Vermont and go from 150 to 3,000, and I'm going to give it to you, you're nuts. He couldn't believe I was going to cancel him, and I just dumped it. I went on the air and told people why. And they had no argument.
Yeah.
You know.
They wouldn't blame you at all.
No, but I mean, that was my claim to fame with Limbaugh. But anyway.
The man who beat up Rush Limbaugh.
Oh, I didn't beat him up.
Oh, he didn't beat him up.
I just said no. I'm not going to pay you the money.
He just said no. Right.
No. You know, and that was that. But anyway, the thing is that it's a different world today, and you get to be my age, and I look back at it all and I say, wow. I've seen a lot of things, but I never thought it'd end up like this. And I know I'm pie in the sky, and I got to understand I'm the eternal optimist. I always held the presidency and the president. Why, that's my president. Even if it was a Republican, Ronald Reagan, I thought he was a great president. I thought he just exemplified the office of president, you know. It was that respect for them, and I just have a struggle trying to respect this fella.
You respect, but you had no problem respecting the man who got us into the stupidest war since World War I. I got a problem with that. These are not, in the words of Waldo Emerson.
I don't think there's. I'd have to go back and review it, but I guess off the top of my head, I don't think there'd be one president who at some point didn't make a mistake, and that's because they're human.
A war that killed a lot of American servicemen and and a lot of the native population too, that we didn't need. I'm sorry, that's a bridge too far. And I don't idolize Trump. As Ralph Waldo Emerson said, I believe it's, in the end, every hero becomes a bore.
Yeah.
And though Trump is doing his best not to bore me and to excite me with all his
Yeah.
rigmarole, he's not a saint. He's not a great man. But if he invades Iran, I'm out the door. I think I want to see him impeached for that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, Richard, thank you so much.
Thank
Another great program. I
think
don't know if
so,
we
too.
solved anything, but
Well, we want to keep them in tenterhooks for next month.
yeah, yeah. And you know what? You can't make these things up.
No, you can't.
There you are, folks. Another Conversations with